The Sneaky Crow and the Golden Grain. Once upon a time, in a bustling village nestled amidst rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a mischievous crow named Charlie. Charlie was known throughout the village for his cleverness and cunning ways, but despite his reputation, he was also admired for his striking black feathers and sharp wit. Every day, Charlie would soar high above the village, keeping a keen eye out for any tasty morsels he could find. But no matter how hard he searched, Charlie always seemed to come up empty-handed, for the villagers had grown wise to his tricks and kept their food well out of reach. One sunny morning, as Charlie was perched atop a tall oak tree, scanning the village below for his next meal, he spotted something that made his eyes gleam with excitement, a field of golden grain swaying gently in the breeze. Oh, what luck! Charlie called to himself, his beady eyes fixed on the shimmering fields below. Surely, there must be something tasty hiding amidst all that grain. With a mischievous grin, Charlie swooped down from his perch and glided gracefully towards the field, his wings slicing through the air as he descended towards the ground. As he landed amidst the golden stalks of grain, Charlie's eyes sparkled with anticipation as he began to search for something to eat. But no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't seem to find anything worth feasting on. Fiddlesticks! Charlie muttered to himself, frustration bubbling up inside him. There must be something here somewhere. I won't leave empty-handed this time. Determined not to give up so easily, Charlie continued to search the field, his keen eye scanning the ground for any sign of food. And then, suddenly, he spotted something glinting amidst the stalks of grain, a small golden seed nestled amongst the wheat. Aha! Charlie exclaimed triumphantly, his eyes lighting up with excitement. A golden seed! Surely, this must be the tastiest morsel of them all. With a quick flick of his beak, Charlie plucked the golden seed from the ground and held it up to the sunlight, admiring its shimmering surface. Oh, what a find! Charlie cawed gleefully, his heart pounding with excitement. This will make for a delicious meal indeed. But just as Charlie was about to take a bite of the golden seed, he heard a voice calling out to him from across the field. Hey, you there! What do you think you're doing? Startled, Charlie turned to see a stern-looking farmer striding towards him, his arms folded across his chest. Oh, bother! Charlie muttered under his breath, realizing he had been caught red-handed. I knew I should have been more careful. The farmer approached Charlie with a scowl, his eyes narrowing as he saw the crow holding the golden seed in his beak. That's my golden seed, you thieving bird, the farmer exclaimed angrily. Put it down this instant. Charlie hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. He knew he had been caught stealing, and he didn't want to get into any trouble. But at the same time, he couldn't bear to part with the delicious-looking seed. I'm sorry, Mr. Farmer, Charlie said sheepishly, his wings drooping with guilt. I couldn't resist the temptation. But please, can't you spare just a little bite? The farmer shook his head in disbelief, his anger softening slightly as he looked at the contrite crow before him. "I suppose I could spare a few grains of wheat in exchange for the seed," the farmer said grudgingly. "But you must promise never to steal from my fields again." Charlie nodded eagerly, relieved that the farmer was willing to make a deal. With a grateful caw, he dropped the golden seed and flew over to where the farmer was standing, ready to make amends for his misdeeds. And so, with a handful of wheat grains in his beak and a newfound respect for the farmer's property, Charlie bid farewell to the golden seed and flew off into the sunset, his belly full and his conscience clear. From that day forward, Charlie never again resorted to stealing from the villagers' fields. Instead, he contented himself with the simple pleasures of life, knowing that true happiness could be found in honesty and integrity, rather than in ill-gotten gains. And though he may have lost the golden seed, Charlie gained something far more valuable, a lesson in the importance of doing what is right, even when temptation beckons. As Charlie soared through the sky, his belly full of wheat grains and his heart lighter with the weight of his newfound integrity, he couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment wash over him. The warm sun beat down on his feathers as he glided effortlessly through the air, enjoying the freedom of flight. But little did Charlie know, his adventure was far from over. For as he flew over the village, he spotted something that caught his eye, a group of children playing in the village square, their laughter echoing through the air. Intrigued by the sight, Charlie swooped down for a closer look, landing on a nearby rooftop to observe the children at play. He watched as they ran and laughed, their faces flushed with excitement as they chased one another around the square. As Charlie watched the children, a mischievous idea began to form in his mind. He remembered how much fun it was to play and frolic in the fields, and he longed to join in the fun. With a flap of his wings, Charlie took off from the rooftop and soared down to the village square, landing amidst the children with a soft thud. The children gasped in surprise at the sight of the talking crow, their eyes wide with wonder. "Look, it's a crow," one of the children exclaimed, pointing excitedly at Charlie. "Wow, he can talk," another child added, their voice filled with awe. Charlie bowed low to the children, a mischievous twinkle in his eye. "Greetings, young ones. My name is Charlie, and I've come to join in your fun and games." The children squealed with delight at the sight of the talking crow, their faces lighting up with excitement. "Yay, a new friend," they cried, rushing forward to greet Charlie with hugs and pats on the back. Charlie laughed happily as the children swarmed around him, their laughter filling the air like music. For hours, Charlie played with the children, joining in their games and races with enthusiasm. He chased after them as they ran through the village streets, his wings flapping with excitement as he tried to keep up with their boundless energy. But as the sun began to sink low in the sky, casting long shadows across the village square, Charlie knew it was time to say goodbye to his new friends. "I'm afraid I must be going, my young friends," Charlie said regretfully, his heart heavy with sadness at the thought of leaving the children behind. "But I've had a wonderful time playing with you all, and I hope we can meet again someday." The children nodded eagerly, their faces beaming with joy at the thought of their new friend returning. "We'll miss you, Charlie," they cried, waving goodbye as Charlie took to the sky once more, soaring off into the sunset. As Charlie flew back towards the forest, his heart filled with happiness at the thought of the fun-filled day he had shared with the children. And though he knew he would miss his new friends dearly, he also knew that he would cherish the memories of their time together forever. But little did Charlie know, his adventures were far from over. For as he flew back towards the forest, he spotted something glinting in the distance, a shimmering light that seemed to beckon him onwards. Intrigued, Charlie flew closer to investigate, his curiosity piqued by the mysterious light. And as he drew nearer, he saw that it was coming from a clearing deep within the forest, a clearing filled with sparkling treasures and glittering jewels. Gasping in awe, Charlie landed amidst the treasure trove, his eyes wide with wonder at the sight before him. "Wow, it's a treasure!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with excitement. "I wonder how it got here." But as Charlie gazed around the clearing, his excitement turned to concern as he realized that he was not alone. Standing at the edge of the clearing was a group of fierce-looking wolves, their eyes gleaming with hunger as they watched him from afar. "Ow!" Charlie muttered nervously, his heart pounding with fear at the sight of the wolves. "I think I may have stumbled upon something I shouldn't have." With a quick flap of his wings, Charlie took off into the air, soaring high above the trees as he tried to escape from the wolves below. But no matter how fast he flew, the wolves were hot on his trail, their sharp teeth snapping at his heels as they chased after him through the forest. Panic rising in his chest, Charlie searched desperately for a way to escape, his mind racing with fear as he dodged and weaved through the trees. But just as it seemed like all hope was lost, Charlie spotted something glinting in the distance, a shimmering pool of water nestled amidst the trees. With a burst of speed, Charlie flew towards the pool, his wings beating furiously as he raced towards safety. And just as the wolves closed in behind him, he dove into the cool, refreshing waters of the pool, disappearing beneath the surface with a splash. For a moment, everything was still and quiet as Charlie waited with bated breath beneath the surface of the water. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the sound of the wolves' snarls faded away, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Peeking his head above the water, Charlie let out a relieved sigh as he saw that the coast was clear. The wolves had given up their chase, their hunger sated by the promise of easier prey elsewhere. With a grateful caw, Charlie flew out of the pool and back into the safety of the forest, his heart pounding with relief at having escaped from danger once again. As he flew back towards his home amidst the trees, Charlie couldn't help but marvel at the twists and turns of his adventures. From playful games with children to daring escapes from hungry wolves, he had experienced more excitement in one day than he had ever thought possible. And though he knew that there would always be new challenges and dangers lurking around every corner, Charlie also knew that he would face them with courage and determination, guided by the lessons he had learned and the friends he had made along the way. After his narrow escape from the wolves, Charlie flew deeper into the forest, his heart still racing from the adrenaline of the chase. As he soared through the treetops, he couldn't help but feel a sense of relief wash over him. He had narrowly avoided danger once again, and he was grateful to be alive. But as Charlie flew deeper into the forest, he began to notice something strange. The trees seemed to be whispering to each other, their branches rustling in the wind as if they were speaking in hushed tones. Curious, Charlie slowed his pace and listened closely to the murmurs of the trees. And then, to his surprise, he heard a familiar voice among them, a voice that filled him with both joy and trepidation. "Charlie, my friend," the voice whispered, its tone filled with warmth and affection. "Is that you, old oak?" Charlie asked, his voice filled with surprise. "What are you doing here?" The ancient oak tree chuckled softly, its branches swaying gently in the breeze. "I am always here, Charlie, watching over the forest and its inhabitants. But today, I have something important to tell you." Intrigued, Charlie flew closer to the old oak tree, his curiosity piqued by its mysterious words. "What is it, old oak? What do you need to tell me?" The old oak tree sighed softly, its leaves rustling in the wind. "There is a great danger looming over the forest, Charlie, a danger that threatens us all. You must be careful, my friend, and watch your back at all times." Charlie's heart skipped a beat at the old oak tree's words. He knew that danger was never far away in the forest, but he had never imagined that it could pose such a serious threat to the creatures who called it home. "What kind of danger?" Charlie asked, his voice trembling with fear. The old oak tree shook its branches sadly. "I cannot say for certain, Charlie, but I fear that it is something dark and powerful, something that seeks to harm us all. You must be vigilant, my friend, and trust in your instincts to guide you through the trials ahead." With a heavy heart, Charlie bid farewell to the old oak tree and continued on his journey through the forest. As he flew, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled over him. He knew that he had to be careful, for the forest was full of dangers that lurked in the shadows. But try as he might, Charlie couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him, something dark and sinister that lurked just out of sight. As the sun began to set on the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Charlie spotted a familiar sight, a small clearing where he and his friends often gathered to tell stories and share tales of their adventures. With a grateful caw, Charlie landed in the clearing and settled down on a mossy rock, his mind racing with thoughts of the dangers that lay ahead. "What am I going to do?" Charlie whispered to himself, his voice barely audible above the rustling of the leaves. But just as Charlie was about to give in to despair, he heard a voice calling out to him from across the clearing, a voice that filled him with hope and renewed determination. "Charlie, my friend. Is that you?" Turning towards the sound of the voice, Charlie's eyes widened in surprise as he saw his friends, Minnie the mouse, Leo the lion, and a host of other creatures from the forest, emerging from the shadows to greet him. "Minnie!" Leo, I'm so glad to see you, Charlie exclaimed, relief flooding through him at the sight of his friends. What are you all doing here? Leo smiled warmly at Charlie, his mane ruffling in the breeze. We heard about the danger lurking in the forest, Charlie, and we knew that we had to come and help you. We're in this together, my friend, and we'll face whatever comes our way as a team. Minnie nodded eagerly, her whiskers twitching with determination. That's right, Charlie. We may be small, but together, we can overcome any obstacle that stands in our way. Touched by his friend's unwavering support, Charlie felt a surge of courage fill his heart. With his friends by his side, he knew that he could face whatever dangers lay ahead, no matter how dark or menacing they may be. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Charlie and his friends gathered together in the clearing, their spirits lifted by the bond of friendship that united them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more bedtime moral stories. Stay tuned.